few points make them different. For example, they all have tremendous desire to learn. They have divine desire to help the learning of others. They have divine desire to help the learning of others. They all are in pursuit for effectiveness. They all are in pursuit of effectiveness. ईश्वर कृपा से पैसों ने कुछ व्यसन उनको भेंट में नहीं दिए हैं। और एक बहुत अच्छी दूसरी बात जिसके लिए मैं इस ग्रुप को और हम सबको इस ग्रुप के लिए बहुत अच्छा लगेगा, वो है in this type of crisis, all the businesses overall performance have gone down. धंधा सबका कम हुआ है, इनका भी कम हुआ है, लेकिन ये इसको लेकर रोते नहीं है, इसको लेकर रोते नहीं है और बातचीत होती है तो भरोसा देते हैं कि सब ठीक हो जाएगा। तो I always believe them as part of the great Indian story. National HRD Network is a national body of HR professionals working all over the country. This is South Gujarat chapter. थोड़ी विशेषता है इसकी. For example, this is 104th uninterruptedly meeting. सतत ये मीटिंग हो रही है. ड्यूरिंग लॉकडाउन ऑल्सो वर्चुअल मीटिंग हो रही है, पहले फिजिकल हो रही है. बाकी वही काफी बहुत अच्छी बात है. लेकिन हमारी टीम जो है वो देव दुर्लभ टीम है, अद्भुत टीम है. ऐसी टीम जहां भी होगी वहां हम बहुत सारा काम कर सकते हैं. तो ये नेशनल एचआरडी नेटवर्क साउथ गुजरात के बारे में थोड़ी बात है. कस्तूरभाई लाल भाई, जिसके बारे में आज हम बहुत सारी बातें सुनेंगे, लेकिन कुछ शब्द कहे बिना मैं नहीं रह पाऊंगा. He was a great visionary and institution builder. He was a man of values and virtues. He was a business leader par excellence and a great philanthropist. Above, he was a great human being. Above all, he was a great human being. We all are very fortunate that we are going to be listening about him from his granddaughter, Miss Swatiben Lalbhai. She is in her own right as granddaughter, can share, but she is passionate about the life and work of Kasturbai. When we had gone to Atul, the way in which she had shared minormost detail and with highest simplicity, she had done it. I can share a lot about her. In her introduction, I would like to read a few lines. She was born in Mumbai, but as Dadaji, that is Kasturbai's desire, Kasturbai wanted all the children to have the upbringing at Atul with the children of workmen and officers. तो इनका अभ्यास अतुल कल्याणी स्कूल में हुआ और इसका कंट्रीब्यूशन उनके जीवन में बहुत अच्छा रहा है. ये उनके व्यवहार में भी अपने को दिखता है. इन्होंने सिडेनहाम कॉलेज बम्बई से बीकॉम किया, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी की. उसके बाद में in place of going into auditing and taxation, she had liking and passion for stock market options, that is market related activities. For Atul, she has been handling that with the fullest focus. But right now, she is focusing lot on education and CSR. In fact, हम जो वहां गए थे, हम सभी लोगों को कहते हैं कि ये CSR वाला काम देखने के लिए भी अतुल खास जाना चाहिए. अतुल स्कूल में बच्चों के बारे में जिस तरीके से सोचा जाता है, और धर्मपुर में ट्राइबल यूथ, उन लोगों को, मतलब वनवासी बेटे बेटियों के लिए एक बहुत अच्छा सेंटर गवर्नमेंट के साथ में उन्होंने बनाया है. लेकिन उसे देखते ही पता चलेगा इट हैज टच ऑफ अतुल. बहुत सुंदर. जो भी टीम है उसका ग्रूमिंग भी बहुत अद्भुत हुआ है. सभी का कमिटमेंट आउटस्टैंडिंग है. लेकिन ये कैसे होता है? बिकॉज लीडर इज लाइक हर. हमारी विजिट में हमने देखा था, शी वॉज नॉट शोइंग, लेकिन हम देख सके शी वॉज टेकिंग केयर ऑफ हर टीम मेंबर्स in the best possible manner. Just outstanding. So she is Swati Ben. She is also trustee of Atul Vidya Mandal, Eklavya Model of Residential School, Atul Kelawani Mandal, Atul Vidyalaya Trust, and Atul Rural Development Fund. I can go on and on, but she is also probably becoming impatient to say about Dadaji Kasturbai. With these words, I request and hand over to her. Before that, my request to all participants, please put your mic on mute. Somebody is speaking. ઘરમાં જે વાતો ચાલે છે, અમે અહીંયા સાંભળી રહ્યા છીએ, પણ અત્યારે આપણે સ્વાતિબેનને સાંભળવાના છે. એટલે મહેરબાની કરીને બધા માઇક મ્યુટ પર મૂકી દેશું. All are requested to put the mic on mute. When the question hour will start, we will request you. We have few people who are going to be asking question, and then we will be giving opportunity to all others. Till then, whenever she is speaking, let us put our mic on mute. If possible, put your video also on mute, so that connectivity may not create any kind of a problem. With these many words, over to Swati Ben. Please.
Good evening to all, and good evening Himanshu bhai. Thank you so much for your kind words. Actually, Jainism it is told જ્ઞાન, દર્શન અને ચારિત્ર. Actually, દર્શન, જ્ઞાન, ચારિત્ર કે જોવું, જાણવું અને પાળવું. देखना, फिर उसे समझना और फिर उसको पालना. I have seen Dadaji's life. I have got to know him also very well. पर जो पालना है, I have not done that. So therefore, I am not actually the right person to talk about Dadaji. But when Himanshu bhai sent me an email, I just could not decline, because I am really passionate about Dadaji's life. So just to put it in context, I wanted to put Dadaji's birth year in the context. He was born exactly 25 years after Gandhiji and 25 years before Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. 2019 was 150th birth anniversary of Gandhiji, 125th anniversary of Dadaji, and 100th birth anniversary of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. So Dadaji was really impacted and influenced by Gandhiji's principle of trusteeship, and Dadaji loved Dr. Vikram Sarabhai just like his third son, and was very much for the scientific advancement and technology advancement. I will start with Dadaji's life. Dadaji was very mischievous. He was extremely mischievous, and he was most interested in flying kites and playing cricket. He was an average student, and as a young boy, he had not excelled in any sphere of activity. So he used to go on the playground, and it was difficult for people to get him back even for dinner. He was so mischievous that once he had thrown away the turban of his teacher outside the window. Dadaji's father, Lalbhai, was very strict and a disciplinarian, and no children could ever take liberties with him. Dadaji's mother, Muminaba, was very gentle. She was the granddaughter of Harkuvar Shethani. Many of you may have heard of Harkuvar Shethani, who had donated lakhs of rupees for public purposes. She had robust common sense, and Dadaji felt very relaxed in her company. So Dadaji and the brother sisters, there were 7 of them, they could not go to their father if they wanted to go for a drama or cinema, but they could go to the mother, and mother would make sure that without the father knowing, the children could enjoy. The main outing for Dadaji was going to giant pilgrimages with the family. They used to go in the bullock cart, and Dadaji would make sure that his bullock cart is the first, so that he doesn't get the dust from the other bullock carts. At the age of 17, he saw Mumbai for the first time. So he had never been to Mumbai till the age of 17. Now, when Dadaji was young, there was a great tragedy in the family. Dadaji's father had started 2 textile mills, Saraspur Mill in 1897 and Raipur Mill in 1905. But the family had to divide because there was a quarrel in the family. And the division in the family was such that the older and the more established mill, Saraspur, went to the brothers, so Lalbhai Sheth's brothers. And Raipur Mill, which was not so established, came to Dadaji's father. And on top of that, just a few months after the division, at the age of 48, Dadaji's father, Lalbhai, died of a heart attack. It was a severe heart attack, and he died suddenly. Dadaji was just 17, and the boy in him, the mischievous boy in him, died an immediate death. He that time asked 2 questions to himself. Will I be able to cultivate those values imbibed in me by my father? And will we be able to live up to those exacting standards and ideals? So these were the 2 questions which he questioned himself. His knowledge of the mill was nil. The elder brother also hardly knew anything about how to run a mill. Because Dadaji had just joined the college, he had many dreams to go to college and have fun. But mother told him to give up the college and to join family business. So the sudden death of his father transformed this mischievous young boy into a responsible karma yogi. Once he joined the mill, he started doing a job of the timekeeper. He had to prepare payslip for workers. So in his own mill, he was doing the work of a timekeeper. The next 3 years were a period of declining sales and low volume profits for Raipur mills. A large part of the money was tied up in the mill, And in those days, Dadaji often wished that he often wished that his father had left the money in form of cash and not shares, as it would have yielded higher interest compared to profits from the mill. So the family's big part of the wealth was in Raipur mill. However, with the First World War, Raipur mill's fortune showed an upward trend because of great spurt in demand. After 6 months, Dadaji assumed the charge of purchasing cotton. By this time, he knew that the profitability of any textile mill largely depended on the quality of cotton used and at the rate at which it was purchased. He decided to see for himself where and how the cotton was grown, how it was pressed, what kind of impurities did it suffer from, what were the prices of various varieties. So he left the office, he went to the farms, he roamed around in Saurashtra and other places, and he made an extensive tour of the villages. He would have cooked with himself, and both of them would go to different farms and try to find out all the intricacies of this basic raw material. This paid rich dividends. He developed the feel for raw cotton through the magic of his fingers. His fingers became so good at examining the cotton that once his younger brother kept 20 different types of cotton very close to each other in quality and asked him to grade them. Just by feeling the cotton with his fingers, he graded them from 1 to 20. He gave them numbers from 1 to 20. After that, 20 different types of chemical and physical tests were done on this cotton, and the result was exactly the same. So what chemical and physical tests could do, his fingers could do. And therefore his fingers were just akin to that of a trained pianist whose reverberations identified the best of cotton. Soon, with perseverance and hard work, he developed keen insight into every aspect of textile production. By the time the war ended, the First World War, the playful boy gained maturity, confidence, and mastery. After that, his elder sister Dahiben told that you must learn English. So despite the break from the formal education and his demanding schedule, he was constantly motivated to learn. He accepted the advice of his elder sister. He kept a tutor at home, and after coming home from the mill, he would take serious lessons in English. He trained himself to be an excellent communicator in English. And this helped him a lot when it came to foreign collaborations. The way he could draft the agreement, it was excellent. None of his sentence had two meanings. It was so clear cut. In 1918, a committee was formed to carry out the famine relief work. Gujarat had severe famine. Both Vallabhbhai and Dadaji happened to be appointed on this committee amongst many other people. This was his first work for public cause, and he said that he learned more about Indian people, their views and attitudes because of the famine work. Every single day, Dadaji used to go to Vallabhbhai and briefed him about the ongoing work. He was so good at doing his work, very methodical, totally selfless. He had put in a lot of hard work, and his sincerity and honesty was appreciated by everyone. For the withdrawal of the oppressive excise duty on textiles produced in India. Again, as he had no experience experience of speaking on a national platform. He told Vallabhbhai that I have no experience. I do not know how to speak in parliament. Vallabhbhai told him that nobody would know. You have to learn whatever you don't know. So he approached Vithalbhai Patel, Vallabhbhai's elder brother, and Dada Saheb Mavlankar to learn the art of speaking in the parliament. So the title is Lifelong Learning, and I would like to tell that how at each stage of his life he kept on learning new things. We have always seen Time and Fortune magazine were always by his side every evening. He would read them religiously. He had written in the letter to Papa and Shani Kaka when they were abroad that the right way to learn is to have an open and inquiring mind and study the inputs thoroughly. He had written to them that I have seen many people that they have gone abroad many times, but they have not learned anything. So after Papa and Shani Kaka finished their education abroad, he said you must travel extensively in USA and learn many things, and that is the best way to finish your studies. This would add to your knowledge, he had said, the traveling. He had trained himself to be a keen observer, which had been of great help in his work life. He had, in the letter, he would give an example that when you see the farming in California, you obtain information about the average size of the farm, the number of people working on the farm, what are the crops, what are the expenses, and all the questions at a later date would really help you. Dadaji got married in the year 1915 to Tarlaben Jhaveri. Dadaji was only 21, Dadima was 15. Dadaji didn't want to get married at a young age, but he had to. They decided to have children only after achieving a degree of stability in business. It took 8 long years, and I really want to mention that in a Gujarati conservative family, when every other year people ask, every other person asks whether there is any good news or not, to stick to their decision and not come under pressure really spoke of their maturity. Also, I must say there were no contraceptives at that time, and the control which they exercised. Dadima was his serene life partner, deeply religious and compassionate. She had an intrinsic understanding of the paths and values Dadaji chose in life. Dadaji's house was the meeting place for the extended family every night after dinner. So in the family, there were about 150 people, and everybody would love to come after dinner to Dadaji's place. He had inherited his social concerns from his forefathers, but Vallabhbhai Patel and Gandhiji acted as catalysts for pursuing this goal. He firmly believed that if one puts in efforts for the welfare of the community at large, people reciprocate beyond measures. He had written to Papa and Shani Kaka again in his letter that Vallabhbhai had come to Ahmedabad. Dadaji had gone to receive him at the aerodrome, and the kind of response he had got from people was amazing. The kind of warmth and welcome Vallabhbhai received when he visited Ahmedabad was amazing. So anyone who dedicates his life for the cause of people, for the cause of the community, for the betterment of community, receives excellent reciprocation. Now Dadaji had known how to run a mill, but he was young. He became overconfident, and in his youthful exuberance and in overconfidence, he started Ashoka Mills. They had thought that they would start with 20,000 spindles, but they doubled the capacity of the spindles, which was contemplated earlier. As a result of fluctuations in foreign exchange, rupee became weak. he realized that now the equipments would cost him considerably more. And in the stock market, the script of Ashoka tumbled down from rupee 100 to rupees 40. And investors started saying that Ashok ke shok mein nakhya. Ashok ne shok mein dala. This was the first major crisis in his business career. But he was most acutely aware that this would mean a serious setback to his reputation as an industrialist. Through determination and tenacity, he overcame the crisis. In his own words, he wrote that very, very early in my career, the experience with Ashoka Mill, despite being a bitter one, proved invaluable as I learned many lessons in life. And Dadaji never forgot any lesson which he learned. Just to give you an example, once when he was in UK, he asked the policeman the direction of one place, and policeman directed him, he showed him, and Dadaji went away after talking to the police. The policeman called him and told him that, young man, you have not told me thank you. From that day onwards, Dadaji in his life has never forgotten to say thank you. Now, Indian textile mills had to face hostility from the very outset from the British government. Sardar Patel asked Dadaji to go to the parliament and fight against the oppressive excise duty on textile produced in India. After 4 years, British government was forced to eradicate the duty. After learning the art of speaking, how to speak in the parliament, Dadaji spoke so well that Motilal Nehru told that Kasturbai is the greatest Swarajist. He is better than any of the Swaraj party member. It is no coincidence that almost 300 years ago, Dadaji's forefather, Shantidas Sheth, had fought for Indian shipping. Dadaji was awarded the highest civil award of Padma Bhushan. After Ashoka, he started Arun Mills, Arvind Mill, Nutan Mills. New cotton was acquired from other family, and so he had now 7 mills. The 3 mills were given to 3 married sisters to provide them with a larger income. So now he was able to conceive and execute projects with precision from start to finish. He was fully supported by the family members and several professionals. He had a solid support from his younger brother, and it enabled him to spend time on social work because the younger brother looked after the family as well as the mill. Dadaji used to call him Raja because he used to work behind the scene and he never asked for any appreciation. He was extremely large-hearted and Dadaji always appreciated him. In 1942, then we had Quit India movement. Gandhiji called for Quit India. That time Dadaji was in Mumbai. He left for Ahmedabad the same night by Gujarat Mail. In the train, he met Khandubhai Desai, then president of the Ahmedabad Textile Labour Association. Both of them agreed that they must do something to express their solidarity for the nation's cause. That means that they will have to close the textile mills. In a moment of inspired decision making, they organized one of the most unique protests in the world history when they sent 1 lakh workers to their homes. This masterstroke achieved everything Satyagraha stood for. It paralyzed the British rule, and more importantly, there was not a single incident of violence. This strike went on for 3 months, and it won an international recognition for the tactical and strategic wisdom displayed under great pressure. This was a real decision when under pressure how one can take very, very wise decision. In the year 1931, Dadaji met two of the very great minds, Mr. Balwant Rai Mazumdar and Mr. Chandraprasad Desai. In the year 1931, Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya ji had come to Ahmedabad to collect funds for Banaras Hindu University. He was the Vice Chancellor of Banaras Hindu University, and that time a bright young lecturer accompanied him. He had master's degree in economics from Banaras Hindu University and a bachelor's degree in commerce from London School of Economics. He was from Surat and belonged to a family of modest means. Dadaji saw that in spite of his brilliant academic achievements, this young man did not call for the porter. Dadaji had gone to the railway station to receive Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya ji, and that time he saw that in spite of his academic career, this young man did not call for the porter, but he himself carried the luggage of Malaviya ji. Dadaji persuaded this young man to join Arvind Mills. This is how Dadaji met Mr. B.K. Mazumdar, who soon became a great confidant and a nurturer of his dreams. Same way, Mr. Chandraprasad Desai, he was the two common things about Mr. Balwant Rai Mazumdar and Chandraprasad Desai was both of them were very compassionate human beings. They were voracious readers. When Chandraprasad Desai used to be asked by any worker that I need some help, he would say that go to my office. My coat is hanging over there. You can take as much money as you want from the pocket. Even Mazumdar Kaka, he used to know each and every worker by their name. They were men with exemplary conduct. So, as staunch nationalist, Mazumdar Kaka was a staunch nationalist. He joined Arvind Mills, but when the freedom movement started, he left Arvind Mills to join the freedom movement. He went to the jail. After his release from the jail, he returned to Arvind Mills. And after independence, Atul started. He took charge of Atul in the year 48. By the time the Second World War began, Dadaji thought that he was looking beyond the textile industry. Several possibilities were considered and given up. He toyed with the idea of manufacturing telephones in the country as there was no indigenous production. But he realized that government is the only buyer. So he gave up the idea. By now, the government had appointed a working committee to suggest measures to promote indigenous production of dye stuff to reduce countries' dependence on imports. A representative of American Cyanamide was invited to suggest ways to develop chemical industry in India. After a visit to India, he expressed his strong conviction that the future of dye industry in India was extremely bright. He hinted his willingness to collaborate with a reputed Indian party. And Dhirubhai Desai, a son of an outstanding advocate Bhullabhai Desai, suggested Dadaji's name. Dadaji was already having some ambition to start some other industry, and the dye industry would fit in very well with the textile industry. It would be a backward integration. So seeking a non-textile opening for himself, he immediately availed of this opportunity, and he himself went to New York to finalize the terms of collaboration. It culminated in the registration of Atul Products Limited on 5th September, Teachers' Day, 1947. Exactly 20 days after India got independence. So India got independence on 15th August 47, and Atul was born on 15th September 47. Dadaji wanted to know from the Vice President of American Cyanamide that how much land he should acquire if he wanted to. I can buy 100 acres of land. And Mr. Moody said, no, Kasturbhai, you must buy something more. Dadaji asked whether I should buy 200 acres. He said, no, something more. 300 acres, no, something more. When he reached 800 acres, Mr. Moody said, yes, Kasturbhai, you must to keep expanding it. One plant after the other would come and you would require enough land. For the new venture, two sites were explored, one in Thana district and other at Panvel. Both were rejected. Then Dadaji Papa and Mazumdar Kaka traveled by bullock cart. It was a month of May. It was summer. It was very hot. And they came in the bullock cart on the bank of the river Par. Looking at the vast grassland, in 2 minutes, Dadaji said that this is a smiling land and it is calling me. આ હસ્તી જમીન છે અને મને બોલાવે છે. ये हस्ती जमीन है और मुझे बुला रही है. Thus, the decision to buy 1,000 acres of land was taken in less than 2 minutes. It was a deep intuition that this land is the right land to start something new. To give his entire attention to the project, Mr. B.K. Mazumdar decided to reside in Valsad. Also, Dadaji said that someone from the family will have to leave Ahmedabad and go to Valsad. Papa also left Ahmedabad to stay in Atul. For first 5 years, the site was developed. For first 5 years, there was no payback. All the money went into developing the site. The horsemen were kept so that they can look after the saplings because many trees were to be planted. The horsemen would get 50 paisa if the sapling survived for a day. The first plant was started in the year 1952 and Atul became the first private sector company to be inaugurated by the first Prime Minister of India on March 17, 1952. 2 dams were built on the river Par as Atul would require a lot of water to manufacture dyes. The colonies were built, the open air theatre was built, the schools were built, the post office and the banks were built. In the year 1920, Dadaji had travelled with his brother for 8 months within Europe to broaden his understanding of the world. And he had realized that there existed a big gap between India and Europe in the field of industrialization. Dadaji and his team found great value in bringing the state-of-the-art technologies and processes for Atul, as India did not have the technology for the same. The quest for excellence resulted in 3 collaborations with the then world-renowned company, American Cyanamide. The collaboration was done in 1947. ICI for dyes, the collaboration was done in 1955, and Ciba-Geigy of Switzerland for polymers in 1960. So once the barren land now started witnessing integration of vastly different work culture. The team of scientists of Atul, the engineers of Atul, the workers of Atul, painstakingly transformed the grassland into one of the finest environment-friendly chemical complexes. Dadaji always felt that one must go beyond business. When Papa and Shani Kaka came back from abroad, he made them sit and he said that some part of your money, some part of your time must go for social activities. He also told Mummy that you mustn't remain in the kitchen, train somebody to cook and you spend time for schools, colleges, hospitals. The role played by Dadaji in the making of institutions of national importance was unique and enduring. In 1939, Dadaji was on the board of Reserve Bank of India, and the then governor, Sir James Taylor, died suddenly. A new governor was to be appointed, and Dadaji, along with Sir Purushottam Das Thakur Das, wanted that the head should be an Indian. A recommendation which government was forced to accept resulted in Sir C.D. Deshmukh being appointed as the first Indian as the head of the most important financial institution in the country. Dadaji was also the founder director of ICICI, now the ICICI Bank. He was he had also recommended to build a dam on river Narmada when Sardar Patel told him after independence that you find a good project for India. Dadaji had said that one can build a dam on river Narmada. This was in consultation with John Rockefeller Jr. The recommendation was unfortunately implemented only after several decades. He also recommended to develop Kandla, a seaport on the western front, after the loss of Karachi to Pakistan. India needed a good port. Dadaji called the experts, and against the pressure from some people to build a port in Bhavnagar or Junagadh or Jamnagar, he made sure that the port comes up in Kandla. Also, he was somebody who had to discontinue college education upon the untimely death of his father. But he fulfilled the desires of millions for higher education by playing a significant role in conceptualizing and creating Ahmedabad Education Society, which has 21 schools, colleges, and other centers of learning. So somebody who could not finish college could do something remarkable in the field of education. When the land was to be bought for Ahmedabad Education Society, he, along with his brother, decided that till whatever land they could see with their own eyes, they must buy. Therefore, Ahmedabad is one of the places where you will see that in open there are many institutions and there is no shortage of land for new institutions to come up. He was the first chairman of IIT Mumbai and an involved visionary in the creation of IIM Ahmedabad, two of the finest centers of learning in India. He was offered the first chairmanship of IIM Ahmedabad, but he said, if I become the chairman, people would feel that this is an institute of Ahmedabad. We want to take it to an international level, so let somebody else be the director. And I'm always there. Why do you want to give me this position? I'm always there to advise you whenever you want. So he never went after the position. When Papa and Shenikaka came back after the education abroad, Dadaji always insisted that spend some time for education, for religious activities, and they did that. Dadaji loved Ahmedabad. His love for art and architecture energized him to call world-renowned architects like Corbusier, Louis Kahn to build institutions of importance. IIM Ahmedabad is built by Louis Kahn. His instinctive understanding of buildings, beauty and symmetry led Louis Kahn to describe Dadaji as the greatest natural architect he ever met. Dadaji once was signing some documents, and whenever he had to sign the documents from the office, it would be written Ka-La, Kasturbhai Lalbhai. So he would know at that place he would be signing. So somebody told him that in your name itself, there is Kala. Dadaji had got his religious culture from his mother. His mother was extremely religious. So the cause which was very close to his heart was also Jain religion. He was born in a deeply religious family. The family took great solace in strength from the principles of Jainism. Principles of Jainism like compassion, Anekantvad, and he was acutely aware of his heritage and the contribution the ancestors had made to Jain community. At a young age of 31, Dadaji became the chairman of Anandji Kalyanji Trust, and in his long tenure of 50 years, he renovated and restored the artistic beauty of several Jain temples. The most prominent among them are Ranakpur, Abu, and Shatrunjay. When Dadaji started the work of renovation of Delwada temples, he made sure that the marble which he gets is exactly the same as the original marble. And also, nobody should be able to make out which is the old work and which is the new work. When he was interviewed by Kumar magazine and asked to name which work of his gave him the highest satisfaction, because he had worked in the field of education, culture, he had started so many business enterprises. He said that the renovation of Jain temples has given him the highest satisfaction. Ranakpur used to be like his second home, and when he went to Ranakpur, he realized that there was nobody used to go to that temple. The temple was full of beds, chamachidia. It was full of beds. It was very dirty. Dadaji, with an English architect, he took him there and restored and renovated the temple. How one person could do so much in his life? So some of the qualities of Dadaji, one of course was the simplicity. He had 7 textile mills, but he had 3 pairs of clothes in Ahmedabad and 3 pairs in Mumbai. Each of his clothes, like his coat, his shirt, used to be numbered. And he would make sure that he would use number 1 and thereafter number 2 and then number 3, so that none of them get washed more and gets utilized more. The clothes were changed only after 3 years, and that too only on a particular date. So whenever he would buy new clothes, the expiry date would already be known. He changed his shoes only once in 5 years. He knew, he believed in astrology, and he knew when he would expire. The last pair of shoes which he bought, he told the person who went to buy the shoes that buy little bit of inferior quality which would last him only for few years. His cupboard had a very few things. All the things were very neatly kept. Once, due to heavy rains, most of the trains had got cancelled. He was in Valsad at that time. He had to go to Mumbai. My mummy had gone to drop him at the station. And he had to be in Mumbai for an important meeting. A goods train came. Dadaji climbed onto the goods train. He traveled alongside cows without any complaint. So this was his simplicity. Once when he went to Bombay, also his train was late. He could not go to home, otherwise he would be late for the meeting. So he went to the office. There was no bucket. He took a glass, and with that he took bath and went to the meeting on time. Also, he had great eye for details. His innermost and constant desire was excellence in any work. He had mentioned that his aim is always to do the best. be it buying of cloth for himself, or purchasing machinery for the mill, or whether renovation of temples or foundation of any institute. He wanted the best. His nature did not accept second best. He detested mediocre work. He had the ability to envision lofty ideas and grand designs, implement them fully while not losing sight of the smallest of the details. So he saw a big picture, but in high definition. He was very particular that for any steps, the riser should be only of certain size. He knew the quantity of vegetables coming from the garden. He knew the number of cardamoms, how many cardamoms would be there in a kilo. So he would go in great detail. And so he was a visionary also, and he was a man of details also. He was absolutely fearless. When Gandhiji gave a call that we must permit Harijans to enter the Shatrunjay temple, Dadaji also went along with him. There was a great opposition from the entire Jain community. But Dadaji said that I would resign as the chairman of the Jain Trust, Anandji Kalyanji, which is the biggest trust in India. But I would like to make Harijans totally, they can enter the temple at any time. He was absolutely fearless, and people would follow him, uh, whatever then he did. He was also a man of discipline. His day started at 5 a.m. He never missed his exercise. Even when he would travel abroad, he would make sure that he would exercise. He would have his spiritual reading because he wanted to make his mind calm. He always believed that spirituality makes you calm, it makes your mind absolutely clear, and then you can take the right decisions. At sharp 7 a.m., he would be on the breakfast table, and all the family members also had to be on the breakfast table. He was so particular about time that Mummy once told him that, Papa, you are a slave of time. His reply was, as I respect time, time respects me. At home, every servant, the cook, the pujari, the gatekeeper, all were aware about his timings, so their work also became very easy. He would never make anyone wait. He had value for his time, he had value for the time of others also. Also, those connected with him knew that a meeting with him without thorough preparation would annoy him. Also, he replied to each and every letter received by him. He expired on 20th January 1980. The last letter received by him was on 19 January 1980 from Japan, from a company called Osaka Godo, to which also he replied in his own handwriting. One of the distinguishing qualities of Dadaji was his legendary ability to balance family, work, and life. Each of the family members would think that Dadaji loves me the most. Dadaji used to know who loves what, which food, which family members likes. So he used to know the taste of everyone. He believed in no waste. No waste of food, no waste of money, no waste of words. He used to see that whenever people would eat pan, and if the loving is put on it, people would throw away that and they would eat pan. So there was a always at our home, he had told that we must never put loving in pan because then lovings are being wasted. Also, he used to tell officers in Atul, when people used to ask him that, Kasturbai, why you are so careful about money? He would explain them this way, that 1 paisa, if you deduct from 1 crore, it becomes 99,99,999.99. So 1 paisa has the 1 paisa can convert crore into lakh. So if Atul had made profit in crores, I will have to tell that Atul has made money in lakhs, because that 1 paisa has the ability to convert crore into lakh, also lakh into crore. Also, he was a man of very few words. He would speak very little. He would never give advice if not asked for. But if asked for, he would give advice after a lot of deliberation. He was a very good listener. Also, he believed in no waste of efforts, no waste of time, and he never wasted his thoughts. Um, a government had given him assignment to study the working of various ministries and suggest reduction in staff strength. After 16 months of lot of hard work, which he viewed as the toughest job in his public life, he had given his report. He had given his recommendation, but which were never implemented. From that time onwards, he would make sure that only if his decision was to be implemented, he would put in efforts. He decided to work for arbitration only if the parties involved gave him a guarantee that they would go by his decision. So he would not waste his efforts. Also, once in Bombay, the office was on the 3rd floor. He was going by lift. He saw that the peon was feeling awkward to go in the same lift. He was climbing on to the stairs. He called him and he said, "Don't waste your energy. You must come in the lift." He believed in no waste of time. My cousin, Sanjay Bhai, uh, just to give you an example, when he was young, he would go with Dadaji to the mill. So as soon as Dadaji would sit in the car, the driver would start the car. So one day Sanjay Bhai came 2 minutes late. So the driver had already started the car. Dadaji told Sanjay Bhai that, "Sanjay, you have wasted my petrol." So the next day, Sanjay Bhai came 2 minutes earlier. He was already sitting in the car, and Dadaji told him, "Sanjay, you don't have anything to do for these 2 minutes." So he would never waste any time and no waste of thoughts. He had trained himself to focus on tasks at hand. Also, he had trained himself to take quick decisions. He had said there were no impulsive decisions, but quick decisions. He would say that out of 10, if you can take 7 decisions right, it is very good. When asked about the reasons behind his success, he said that મારા મતે જીવનમાં સફળતાની ચાવી છે એકાગ્ર નિષ્ઠા અને સખત પરિશ્રમ. That means concentrated dedication and absolute hard work. He believed that we shape our destiny by our own deeds, be them in thoughts, words, or physical actions. He always told कि काम काम ने शिकवे, काम काम को सिखाता है. Also, when he was asked the reason behind his success, he had said that the driving force behind my business, social, and cultural activities is my unshakable Shraddha, my unshakable belief in Jain religion. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. Dadaji expired on 20th January 1980. Once he was traveling with Shainik Kaka in the car and the dead body was passing by. Dead body was covered with the flowers. So Dadaji told Shainik Kaka that when I die, do not put any flowers on my body. Flowers are meant only for God. And in my respect, none of the schools, colleges, mills should remain closed. You cover me with only one white sheet from Arvind Mills and make sure that none of the mills remain closed. So when Dadaji expired, all the Ahmedabad mills except Lalbhai Group mills remained closed in his respect, and Lalbhai Group mills were working. So when the final scorer comes to write against your name, he sees not you won or lost, but how you played the game. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Um, Himanshu bhai, if there are any questions.
We'll have a few questions, but first of all, I would like to share
Yes.
absolutely enriching experience. Absolutely enriching experience. Much more than what we had expected.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I request Avni Ben to ask her question. Avni Vasya. Okay. Another person who would like to ask a question was Rashmi Ben, Dr. Rashmi Ben from Narmada College, Bharuch.
Haji.
Rashmi Ben from Narmada College, Bharuch. Okay.
Host is muted all. So yeah.
Unmute करूँ पर से host. We'll do that. Avni Ben and Rashmi.
Hello.
Hello.
Rashmi Ben.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
You are audible.
Namaste, Swati madam.
Namaste.
First of all, thanks a lot for sharing such a great, inspiring, and successful leadership and entrepreneurship story of late Shri Kasturbai Lalbhai. There were so many takeaways from this session, madam. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yes, madam. Yes. Being a faculty from Narmada College of Management, my question is, being a part of such a great background, what message you would like to give to today's youth, to today's youngsters? What message you would like to convey to today's youngsters?
A good question.
Yeah. Let me tell you, Dadaji had asked two questions to himself, that will I be able to cultivate whatever my father had given to me. those values which he tried to imbibe in me. And I think the answer was, in the end, that his unshakable Shraddha in the religion made this possible. So, just to tell you, before few years, my sister and I had gone to Finland because the education over there is supposed to be the world best. And we were traveling by train. And in the train, one lady was sitting. There were hardly any people in the train. So I started talking to that lady. And she said that I am a teacher. My daughter is a teacher. My daughter-in-law is a teacher. So I told her that how come the education of Finland is the best? Because everybody now is talking about Finland education. So first of all, she said that, is it? Are we the best? Uh, and then her station was coming, so she had to get down. So she stood near the door, but after a few minutes she came back. And she told me that I thought about your question, and I think Finland's education is the best because the base is spirituality. So I would say that spirituality should be the base. It gives you lot of energy, it gives you lot of clarity, it gives you lot of courage to withstand adversity. And therefore, Dadaji always spent the first hour of his after getting up in doing spiritual reading. That was the time he would read the Jain scriptures, which gave him lot of clarity. He was absolutely clear in his mind. So I really believe that spirituality can help the youngsters a lot. It quietens your mind.
Avni Ben, your
Yes,
question, please.
sure.
Yes, your
Yeah.
question, please.
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am. And
To satisfy Rashmi Ben,
Rashmi Ben, would you like to respond to Swati ma'am? I believe
yeah, please carry on.
yeah. I can't speak on her behalf, but at least for me, let me tell you that this was an absolutely mesmerizing experience. I have seen the museum, but and I really was touched then, but now hearing to the story from your side, it was it was like living through those times, and it was such a pleasure to know a legendary person like Shri Kasturbai Lalbai, and who better than you to speak about it. So thank you very much for
Thank
this
you,
sharing.
Ben.
Uh, just I was just curious in terms of which was one of the which what left the biggest mark on you, him as a grandfather, not only as a inspired through him, but as a, the biggest imprint on you?
Okay, so let me tell you, Dadaji was a very caring person. Immediate family members, but even for the extended family members. So all the 7 brothers, sisters of his, their children and their grandchildren, everybody, if they had any problem, they would go to that. Because and in spite of his absolutely hectic schedule, busy schedule, he had time for everyone. He had family, and he had time to swim every day. He had time to play with the children. And one thing which I would never forget, that I and my sister, we were traveling by Gujarat Mail with him, and Gujarat Mail comes in the night at 1 o'clock to Valsad. So we got in with Dadaji, and Dadaji was just in the next compartment. And when my eyes opened, I saw Dadaji was putting the blanket on me. So
Oh,
he was, grandchildren to be very comfortable. So his caring nature, and whenever he would come to Atul, we never spent lot of time with him because we were in Atul, he was in Ahmedabad. But every month he would come to Atul, and every week he would write a letter to my mother, because Dadima expired in 1950. My mother had not seen my Dadima, so Dadaji trained her. Dadaji taught her what to cook, how to cook in the family.
wow.
So those things really impresses me, that in spite of his so many responsibilities, he had time for the family.
Amazing. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarvesh ji, your question, please. Sarvesh ji. Sarvesh ji.
I cannot unmute myself.
No problem. You are now.
Okay.
You are audible.
Yeah. Thank you, Swati Ben. While you were speaking, I could see, I could see as if I'm seeing Kasturbai in front of me. You were a reflection of him, simplicity personified, and you were speaking from your heart and so passionate, and the words were just flowing, and I could see few participants in tears also. So it's been a really wonderful journey that you've shared with us today. One thing which which makes me think, how can somebody in one lifetime do so much? What was his source of inspiration?
You know, I must share with you that when Papa became 18, Dadaji had given him one comb, and it was written on it, "Keep up your heritage." So Dadaji was extremely proud of his heritage, and he knew, uh, his 10th generation, 11th generation, what they had done in the times of Akbar, Shah Jahan, Jahangir, what they did for the protection of India, Indian culture, the Jain temples. So he was very much inspired by his ancestors. And he could do so much because he developed no waste philosophy. And therefore, when so much time goes away in waste thoughts. I will give you another example. Once all three of us were not well. We are three brother sisters, and all three of us, we were young, very young, and in Atul, and my mummy was terribly worried. So she told Dadaji that, "Papa, I'm feeling very worried about the children, their health." And Dadaji told that worry will not help you. So he always made sure that people think positively. Even when every Diwali vacation we used to travel with him, we would travel every vacation. We would go by car, and he would say that never speak upshabda. So he would always be very positive. Always lot of positive vibration. But what would have your question? What would have inspired him? I think his heritage.
Good. Aditi Ben wanted to ask one question. Aditi Ben. Aditi Ben.
I must share with Avni Ben one more thing to that Dadaji when he used to go to Maharaj Sahib, our Jain Maharaj Sahib, and once he saw Punya Vijayji Maharaj Sahib, he would go at a particular time, but he saw him reading something with utmost concentration. So generally, whenever Dadaji would go, Punya Vijayji Maharaj Sahib would talk to him, but he was so much into that book, whatever he was reading, that he did not know that Dadaji has come. So somebody told that we will tell Punya Vijayji Maharaj Sahib that you have come, but he said, no, you don't disturb him. He would be thinking quietly and this should not break. His thoughts should not break. So he sat there for half an hour and he went away. So he believed that, you know, your mind, your thoughts, the quiet thoughts, they are very important.
Right. Thank you.
Aditi Ben, at your end, mic seems to be mute. Okay. Dhansukh Bhai Kapadia. Dhansukh Bhai Kapadia wanted to ask a question. Dhansukh Bhai Kapadia. Okay. Some questions may come,
Yes.
but what I had requested, Dr. Bina Nair. Dr. Bina Ben. Dr. Bina Ben wants to ask a question. Bina Ben.
સ્વાતિબેન
Can you
હા સ્વાતિબેન મારે પ્રશ્ન એ પૂછવો છે કે ઇન્ડિયાના કોર્પોરેટ જગતમાં તમારા જેવા વર્ષોથી ચાલી આવતા ફેમિલીઝ એટલે કે જેને ફેમિલિયલ વર્ષોથી કોર્પોરેટમાં એક ધારા સારા ને સારા રિઝલ્ટ આપતી એ પેઢીઓમાં જે તમે આવ્યા છો તે એનું કંઈક રહસ્ય અમે જાણવા માંગતા હતા. કસ્તુરભાઈ શેઠના કોઈ ફાઉન્ડેશન કે એમની આગળના કોઈકના ફાઉન્ડેશન એ બાબતે જરા આપ પ્રકાશ પાડશો?
Yes. Swati.
I think કે you know જ્યારે તમે ઘરમાં સિમ્પ્લિસિટી જુઓ અને ઘરમાં તમે નાનપણથી એવું વાતાવરણ હોય કે દેખાડો નથી અને કોઈ બગાડ નથી થતો, તો આવી ચીજો કદાચ તમને હેલ્પ કરે. અને અમુક પ્રિન્સિપલ્સ એટલે of I think hard work, બધાનું respect રાખવું, you know, you treat people with dignity, you don't treat anyone, your officers they should not feel that they are inferior to you. So you don't never make them feel that way. You are always worried about their growth. So I think, and also some risk taking ability, maybe these could be the reasons. Maybe I am not the right person. Maybe I think my brother can answer this better, because I am more into CSR and not into business. So maybe I am not the right person.
નહીં, ખરેખર બહુ સારો વાર્તાલાપ હતો અને બહુ જ આનંદ થયો અને ઘણા એવા પાસા અમને જાણવા મળ્યા કસ્તુર કાકાને માટેના અને ઘણા લોકોને એમાંથી ઘણું શીખવા મળશે. આભાર.
Thank you.
As I had requested, what was Kasturbhai's way of encouraging people, and what was his way of correcting people? People would make mistakes.
So inspiration and motivation. So inspire somebody, but the motivation has to come from within. So Dadaji inspired a lot because of his own exemplary conduct. So you know, just when you have, supposing your company is small, you have 5 people working, you can physically interact with them and you can influence them. But once you start growing, you have say 20 people and then 100 and 1,000 people. The only way to motivate them, the only way to inspire them is by your own conduct. By your own conduct. So like we had read, અમારા એક અમરેન્દ્ર વિજય મહારાજ સાહેબ had written કે તમને તમારું આ ટેબલ સાફ કરવું હોય और તમારો રૂમ સાફ કરવો હોય તો તમે એક ઝાડુ લઈને સાફ કરી શકો. आप एक झाड़ू लेके साफ कर सकते हो, लेकिन अगर आपको पूरा विश्व साफ करना है तो आपको साफ होना पड़ेगा. So same way, if you conduct yourself, like just to give you an example, that time Sibatul's managing director was Dr. Nayak, and he had written, he wanted to give some message to Dadaji. So he wrote it on a piece of paper, a big piece of paper, and he had written only 2 lines. So when the paper came to Dadaji, he tore off those 2 lines and the plain paper he sent it back to him. So this was the way to teach that and inspire them by his own conduct. So I feel that motivation or the inspiration can be done this way. Also, Mr. Ravi Mathai, who was the director of IIM Ahmedabad, has written very well for Dadaji. When Dadaji expired, this book came out, Tribute to Ethics. And just for 2 minutes, I can read out something that Dadaji would argue and disagree. But if you had sufficient faith in yourself and your ideas, he would back you. Also, he would trust you entirely, and this trust caused you to test the limit of your own capabilities. He would argue, but he would never quarrel. He would overrule, but he was not overbearing. He was not overpowering. He might disagree, but he would not keep any grudge. He would disapprove, but he would not keep any grudge. And he always had this concern for people and desire to build them. Maybe all this gives lot of how to correct people. Dadaji could tolerate if somebody was incapable. અનઆવડત એ એક્સેપ્ટ કરી શકતા હતા, બટ if somebody એમણે લખ્યું છે કે જો મારી આંખમાં કોઈ ધૂળ નાખવા પ્રયત્ન કરે તો I could not tolerate. So he would not tolerate those kind of people who would not say the truth, Or if they did not know and they would say, I know. This he could not tolerate. But he would try and he would teach. Just to give you an example, I think our time is getting over. But
Please.
Once Papa wrote to him 2 lines, and to make Papa understand, he wrote 3 pages of letter, and he said that I want to present you all the facts because I don't want you to take decision without knowing the facts. So he would correct them, he would go all out and explain them. He would train them. He sent many people abroad to get them trained. So he would correct them if they admitted to their mistakes or if they showed that they want to learn. Just to give you an example, the chief engineer of Atul, Mr. Babicon, he was the engineer also at Irwin Mills. He had said that in 1948, American Cyanamide, they wanted to charge huge fees for some engineering drawings. Dadaji inspired me, and he enriched my experience. You know, he told me that you do these drawings not to save money, but so that I get an experience in how to encounter the engineering problems and develop indigenous expertise. So he had said that he was a prime mover of man. So he corrected people by training them, by advising them, but he would never give advice if not asked for.
Great.
Of course, he did get angry also. He got angry, but that was in few circumstances.
Just I wanted to ask you, when he would get angry,
Yes.
I mean, how he would express?
Yeah.
If at all, any example is coming to your mind?
He would be extremely straightforward. And he would say that તમને નહોતું આવડતું તો તમે કહ્યું કેમ નહીં? Why didn't you tell? So he would be very straightforward, and he could tell this to anyone at any position. So not only to the officers, but even to people holding very high positions in government, he could tell them. He could tell them if somebody was late, he could tell them that, don't you know how to respect time? So he would be very forthright in telling people if they were late or if they did not abide by what he had told them.
Great. We would have loved to continue the interaction, but as Dadaji was also very much known for respecting the time, we also would like to respect your time. And I would like to request Rakesh Bhai to share word of thanks. Rakesh Bhai is part of Team Eklavya, Tankya, and us. He is part of this family.
Aditi Ben, both of them are sitting just next to me.
Yes.
And also to my sister for putting up this presentation and working really hard.
Great of you. In fact, this was your quality which we had marked that time also. Thank you. Rakesh Bhai.
Yes, Himanshu bhai, thank you very much. But તમારા બધાનો alignment લઈશ. I would take 3 minutes more. So
Please.
you'll have to excuse me for that. And Swatiben, thank you very much. It was really, really amazing. You know why it is amazing? Because nowadays when we see a person getting some achievement in a single field, we respect him. But when you talk of Dadaji, he had made so many achievements in so many different fields. And even in a single field, so many different variety. For example, he was instrumental in starting government school, જેને આપણે મ્યુનિસિપાલિટીની શાળા કહીએ તેવી સ્કૂલ, then IIT Mumbai, IIM Ahmedabad, and physical research laboratories, so many iconic institutions of India. And why this is more important? Because it was at that time when English people had left us so demoralized. એવા એન્વાયરમેન્ટમાં તમે આવું વર્લ્ડ ક્લાસ ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યુશનનું ડ્રીમ હોવું, that itself is something different. And this has also realized something more. When we were learning about time management, what we learned was that everything should be in time. It should start on time, it should end in time. But this is altogether a different paradigm. કે એક માણસ પોતાના સમયનો ઉપયોગ in so many different aspects of life, how can he contribute? Not only that, but as you said, he had time for all the children, all the family members. So, I mean, contribution in business, contribution in education, contribution in religion, in spite of that, time for family member, I mean, that realization itself is something extraordinary for us, and that is what we are all taking away tonight. But Swatiben, all the important thing is the way you have narrated it. You know, koi museum ma jata hoye, and if some guide who we hire, he tells us the story, and against you who have seen this in person, જેને કહે ને first person, તો એના કારણે જે અમને લાઇવલીનેસ લાગી છે, as if we are seeing Kasturbai Lalbhai in front of us. So I don't think any other people would have done enough justice to this topic. So Swatiben, really, really thank you very much. One more thanks goes to NHRD and especially Himanshu Bhai. Himanshu Bhai વિશે એક વસ્તુ હું કહીશ. I guess Sarvesh Bhai and Dr. Rajesh and all the Eklavya team member and Sankhya team member would agree કે આપણે જ્યારે કહીએ ને કે ગુરુ ગોવિંદ દોનો ખડે કિસકો લાગુ પાય, બલિહારી ગુરુદેવ કી ગોવિંદ દિયો બતાય. It is only Guru like Himanshu Bhai who can show us Govind like Kasturlal Lalbhai through Swatiben. So Himanshu Bhai, તમે આજે અમને અવેલ કરાવ્યું છે સ્વાતિબેન અને એમના થ્રુ કસ્તુરબા લાલભાઈની આખી લાઈફ. Really, really thank you very much, and you are a really great asset to at least South Gujarat. Of course, so many different parts of India is also taking benefit of you, but અમારા માટે તમે એક ખરેખર એક blissful ગુરુ છો અને અમને આ જે એડવાન્ટેજ મળી રહ્યા છે. Thank you very much to you, Himanshu Bhai. All the people who have been available here throughout the session, તમારા બધાના ટાઈમ માટે અને સ્વાતિબેનને અને હિમાંશુભાઈને આટલી સારી રીતે સાંભળવા માટે, and the people who have asked right questions. Of course, આની પાછળ જે લોકોએ મહેનત કરી છે એ બધા લોકોને સમયની કોઈના કારણે હું નથી લેતો, પણ સ્વાતિબેનની ટીમ, અમારી ટીમ, આ નેટવર્ક જે લોકોએ અવેલેબલ કરાવ્યું છે, બધા લોકોને really, really thank you very much. Over to you, Himanshu Bhai.
Thanks a lot once again to everybody. No other words. Swatiben, ફરી એક વખત ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર.
આપનો પણ ખૂબ આભાર for giving me this opportunity.
Great of you. All the best.
Thank you.
All the best to entrepreneurs, all the best to all those who have come, and all those people who made this message reach to a lot of people.
Yes, they really deserve thanks.
Yes,
correct.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.